Alright everybody, good morning. It's Nick with NK Landscaping as usual. So today we are doing a driveway repair. So we've got the Harley Rake rental loaded up. I got to strap that down. We got the skid steer. So there's already 40 tons of gravel there. We're going to be spreading that out after we Harley rake the driveway to get rid of all the potholes and junk. And then we also have to just Harley rake a section of the guy's lawn. So we're going to finish getting strapped down, loaded up here, and we'll check back in with you on the job. Alright, so we're here on this property. We've got our first load of gravel dropped. The job's a little different than what I was envisioning, but a little overgrown. But I'm basically going to Harley rake this lower section of the property. And there's the yard over here that needs to get Harley raked as well. But as far as the driveway, we're going to Harley rake it first just to break everything up, kind of grade out the base driveway. There's some potholes and stuff that we want to get rid of. And then we will top coat this in some gravel. And then behind the house, there's a bit more driveway that has to have the same treatment done to it. So we start down here, see how it goes. It's the first time with the Harley rake on a driveway. It should be fine. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll try to get what I can for video. I know Fitz said he wants to help film a little bit. He's going to be doing some what we call the union worker today, so he gets to have a good old time. I had him bring down a bucket so he gets a nice seat, and he'll assist me and keep all the edges nice and raked in and everything. So we'll get started here in a second and go from there. Alright, we got the Harley rake going here. I'm just knocking that big lump down in the middle of the driveway and busting up these potholes so we can fill them in. You basically want to get your base layer down to what you want to top coat it with, because if you just fill in a pothole with new stuff, it never turns out right, and the pothole will just come right back. So we're going to go up and down this driveway a few times, just busting everything up, getting it all leveled out, and then we'll top coat it. Alright, we're fueling up the machine. Most of the grading work is done. I spread out the first 20 yards of item 4, and that basically got me a little less than halfway down the main driveway and then wrapped around to kind of here. So tomorrow we'll have the second load. I'll finish up this, top coat a little more here. There's a little parking spot right there, and then finish off the rest of the driveway. Had a little bit of a scare with the GoPro earlier. I was using the Harley rake, and it was mounted right up there by the light. And I got out and I said, where did the GoPro go? And it had fallen off So we were digging through all the piles of dirt trying to find it, and lo and behold, it was just kind of wedged down in the track frame. So kind of forgot about it, and next thing you know, I have a 48-minute video and finally found the GoPro. So I didn't get as much footage of Harley raking as I wanted to. Well, I got 48 minutes of it, so I'll have to chop that down. But filling up, taking this out of here for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Okay, back on site this morning. Got our second load of gravel. It's up in the front, so we just got to wrap this driveway around this car. Brought the weed whacker to try to knock some of those weeds down. I guess that car doesn't move currently, but driveways kind of go to. There's a little bluestone walkway right there, straight back, and then square off. You see the pile of gravel down there. I gotta do some more down at the end of the driveway just to even it out with the pavement, and then he asked me to grade out this a little bit, so there's a drainage trench right there, and he wants to keep the water running right from the house. So I'm just gonna cut a little bit of a V through this area so that the water continues out over here. And yeah, pretty easy. This section of the driveway is basically done, wrapping around to the back of the house, and then right about there is where I stopped yesterday, so we'll continue that down for the rest of it. Should be easy though. Everything else is done. I'm really amazed what Harley Rake did through here. So all this was grown up just like that. So I raked through here, piled all the grass, and then put that in the back. But it did a really nice job grading everything out. It was really lumpy before. So we'll get unloaded, get started spreading this gravel and grading. Alright, so what I'm doing here, I'm just getting this lawn graded out a little bit. I just cut in the drainage swale a little bit, and I'm just leveling everything back out. I might do a couple more passes on the drainage swale. This is basically my second time using this Harley Rake. I used it, kind of demoed it at my own property just to get a feel for it. Now this is really the first job that we're using it for, and I'm really actually enjoying it. It works really well. You definitely have to, it's got some nuances. So this is the Bobcat one, so I have power angle, and I also have adjustability on those front casters for grade control. So what I find is I'll set my height, which kind of at the same time sets the angle of the blade. So if you're too low and you angle down, the left side will be deeper if you're angled left, and if you're too high and you angle down, the right side will be too deep. So I find like a comfortable height that I want to set my arms at. I'll curl down, and you'll see that there's actually some pivot movement in there's like some pins that allow the actual Harley Rake to float kind of separate from the machine itself. So I'll tilt that down to basically where it's just starting to touch the pins. So that'll allow the Harley Rake to go up and down. I'll use my caster control, so I'm starting to lower that now until I see it kicking up some dirt. And then I'll use the caster control as my grade control. So if I need to come up with the Harley Rake, I'll caster down. And if I need to go down, I'll caster up. So I'm just back dragging this right now, leaving nothing but the wheel marks. So that makes it really easy to rake out. And I'll go through a couple times, just smoothing this all out. And as I get to the end of my pass, I'll caster down to lift the drum. So I'm not kicking anything up, pick up, back forward again. So once you get some time on this thing, it's actually really easy. So now I'm going to come through and I'm going to try to get this drainage ditch. So I want my left side to be a little lower, so I'm actually going to go lower with the arms. And I'm going to caster up a little bit, or caster down so my drum comes up. And I'm going to come through here. So now my left side of the drum is a little bit lower, so I'm actually cutting in a bit of this ditch. Then I'm just going to follow my ditch just to pull the dirt up and out of it. I know it's not going to show up on camera very well, but there is a little slight ditch in here now, so the water will not stay near the house. The water is actually going to run away from the house, which is what we want. So I'm pulling all my dirt out of the ditch. that out back to here. You know, there's of course still going to be some handwork, but much less. So we found a rope there. Got a rope tied around the drum, so I want to get that out of there. Alright, so I got the lawn all graded out. Fitz is over there just raking out any last little bits. And now I'm going to finish out spreading the gravel on the driveway. We got a little bit on our right here that I need to do. And then where the pile of gravel was dumped yesterday, I Harley raked that just so it blends. So coming up here right in front of us, I'm going to add some gravel just to even this out, but the Harley Rake does a really good job of getting rid of the, not getting rid of the grass, but blending everything together. So we got our pile here. I'll spread that out around the car in the back, in this area that we just drove over, and then a little bit down at the end of the driveway where it transitions into the pavement for the road. So here we go. Alright, we're about finished up here. You can see we got the driveway around the car. Like he said, he couldn't move it, so driveway is in around the car. The lawn is graded out. We got this little parking area, or whatever you want to call it. Came around. This was all grass when we started. Looks much better. Fitz is just doing a little edge touch up. Came through here. The Harley Rake came in really handy for leveling out everything. Parking space, which was all grass when we started. And then this is the start of the shared driveway. And we got all of that graded out nice and even. There's, you know, a big hump in the middle, like most gravel driveways get after a while. And then down here were some pretty nasty potholes. But you can hear with the machine, it's nice and smooth, even on a tracked machine. Got all the way down. There's a little puddle here on the left from the neighbor's driveway, so we filled that in, graded everything off. And then down here where it meets the pavement, we have a nice smooth transition. No more big bump when you get on the driveway. So that's basically that. We're gonna blow off this little lower section when we head out. Aside from that, that's a wrap on this project. Can't complain. Nice easy one. Came out real nice. The client was happy. I think we actually might be coming back to do some drainage work at some point. But that's it for this part of the job. Alright guys, thanks for watching.